What's up, YouTube? My name is Vic. I want to welcome you aboard to my channel, Navy Vet Reacts, where we react to videos about the U.S. Navy, other navies around the world, and military videos. Uh, this is your first time on the channel. I invite you to stick around, watch the video. Make it to the end, hit that like button, subscribe. Don't forget that notification bell so you know every time I put a new video up. Today we're going to be reacting to a video that I saw on YouTube called The First 72 Hours. It basically follows a young recruit. Well, he's not a recruit anymore. A young sailor fresh out of basic or A school reporting to his first duty station. That could be a very traumatizing, confusing time for a young sailor. I remember my first experience checking onto my first ship. I was intimidated. I was scared, but I had good people to, pick me up and check me in and show me a rope. They showed me the ropes. And my purpose with this is, like I said, my purpose with this channel in general is to put out information for anybody who may be joining the Navy or has joined the Navy but hasn't quite shipped out yet. I am a 7-year U.S. Navy veteran, and I do feel that I have good information to put out. So with that, let's get into this reaction.
An unauthorized absence on June 24th, 25th, and 26th.
This sailor once had a promising
Push to come aboard. I'm gonna check in.
You serious? It's Sunday.
Says no later, 5th May.
Hold on a second. Let me call the CDO. CDO, this is Belk. I have a Seaman Burger here reporting for duty. Yes, sir. I'll take care of it. Messenger, this is the OOD. I have a new sailor here at the quarterdeck. Could you come up and show him his new home, please? All right, the messenger will come up and take you to your new home in a second.
Thank you.
Alright, that whole "you serious, this is Sunday," that's a load of crap. People check into ships 24/7. Just because it's Sunday doesn't mean you won't get new check-ins. So that, I get this is acting and this is meant for like training purposes or whatnot. So there's gonna be some stuff in here that doesn't make sense. I get it, but that's not something that's you should ever encounter. People check in all the time, all hours of the night.
Issue will be open until 15:45 for returns only.
Listen, just because you're joining the Navy or just because you're in the military, it doesn't mean people don't steal. All right, everybody in the military is not honorable. Watch your shit. Watch where you put your stuff. I'm gonna give you a story, my own personal experience. Right, when I got onto my ship, I had a CD player that I had bought in A school. This is way back when they was just starting to put AM/FM receivers in CD players. Yeah, look, I'm a 40-year-old, okay? That was cutting edge technology back then. But anyway, I spent a lot of money on that CD player. In my little E1 pay, I wasn't making crap back then. I think I was making like $300, $400 a month, if that. That CD player was probably about a quarter of that. So I remember I was on the boat. It was maybe like my third night, and I had to use the head. And so I had a bottom rack. When you're new, that's probably where you're going to sleep, is on a bottom rack. So I remember the head was like not even 10 feet past the door to my berthing. So I put it under my pillow. There was nobody else in the berthing, at least to my knowledge, right? I was the only guy sleeping on the ship at that time. So I put it under my pillow. I use the head. I come back. My CD player is gone. I was so pissed off. I was so heartbroken too, because I was like, yo, I don't make a lot of money. And now, like, this big purchase I just made not even a month ago is gone. So I was heartbroken. I was pissed. And I learned a lesson that night the hard way. Safeguard your shit, man. Don't just leave your stuff around and take it for granted and think that just because you're in the military that nobody's going to steal. Because, yeah, people steal. There's people from all walks of life go in the military. So safeguard your shit.
Well, man, over there's your rack. Just you sleep there for the night. Muster with the division in the morning.
Okay. Hey, thanks, man.
Yep, no problem.
How's it going?
All right, I guess.
Your new check-in on board, huh?
Yeah, I just got here today.
Too bad for you. So what's your name?
Matt Berger. Yours?
I'm Ely.
Why are you here on a Sunday? I thought only people on duty are here on Sundays.
I'm on restriction.
I really don't know my way around yet, and
All right. When you first get onto the boat, those are probably the first people you're going to meet, are people on restriction. Restriction is punishment. These guys probably went to Captain's Mast or XOI, and they're serving out restriction. Restriction is, I don't want to say it's like being in jail, but you can't leave the ship for whatever days the CO or the XO determine. Basically, you did something, and that's your punishment, restriction. Some of these guys get extra duty or whatnot. I know they have to muster. If I remember, it was like 4 times a day, 3 or 4 times a day. I don't remember what it was. But, you know, you're going to be checking in sometimes, you know, hours when are not regular working hours. So these are going to be the only people on the ship, restricted personnel or duty section personnel. And restriction personnel, if they're not on extra duty and it's not working hours, they have nothing else to do. They're just going to be roaming around the boat. So, you know, those are the, you know, you're more likely to meet one of them first or encounter one of them first.
I'm kind of hungry. You wouldn't be able to bring me to the galley, would you?
You're kidding, right? The galley closed about 2 hours ago. But I tell you what, I'll take you up to the gear dump, get you some candy.
That'd be great.
Cool, let's go.
Thanks, man. This really hits the spot.
We better get you back. You don't want anybody messing with your stuff.
What do you mean?
This is the worst boat in the Navy. On this tab, you can never be too careful.
Yeah, I could already see that the morale on that ship is bad. That's never a good sign. When you're new, you're very impressionable. So who you meet first makes a huge difference in what your attitude is gonna be like. And this guy, he's already off to a bad start, and I kind of feel bad for him because it's like the command is already letting him down, and he hasn't even had a chance yet.
I wonder why they put you in this berthing. This berth's for combat systems, not operations.
I don't know. You'd not be able to get some sheets from my rack.
Yeah, I know where to get some sheets from. Got to go back out this way. Here you go, man.
Sure, I can take these?
For sure. You need it.
Listen, that's kind of how things happen on board the ship. Sometimes you got to do some shady stuff. It happens. You learn to deal with it. You learn to be slick after a while. Nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you just have to make stuff happen.
Sheets. Got sheets. But they don't know it won't hurt. Let's go.
Okay.
Door incomplete. Time 14166. Play the last 1416.
I better get back before someone comes looking for me.
Hey, man. Thanks again for helping me out. Really appreciate it.
No problem.
Yeah, that was one thing I forgot to mention. Restriction, they usually have a curfew. I mean, they're not leaving the boat, but after their evening muster, I believe they're supposed to be in their racks. I do know, at least on carriers, the Master Arms, they do bunk checks. You know, I don't know if every ship does that. They did on mine, so.
I see you around.
All right, good morning, everybody. Listen up to the POD. At 0715, we're having quarters. 0730, cleaning stations. And then at 0800, EXO will be spot checking EKMS. You Seaman Burger, right?
Yes, Chief.
Come here. When'd you check in?
Yesterday afternoon, Chief.
Would you have your orders with you?
I had them yesterday. I don't know what happened.
I know you lost it, because I have it right here. Here's your orders. Don't lose them, you understand?
Yes, Chief.
You get your Iraq already?
Yes, they got me with combat systems birthing.
That doesn't even matter, all right? Okay, are you married?
No, Chief.
That does matter, okay? When you get to a ship, you belong to a department and division, and you need to be bunked with that division or department, at least within your department. Because sometimes, like, I was on an aircraft carrier. My division was a small division, but there was another division in my department, G3. G3 is a huge division. I was G1, flight deck. We were small, you know, maybe 30 guys, a couple girls. I'm sorry, you know, for you ladies. So we had a 2-level berthing, which was never full. So G3 would use our berthing, our top berthing, as an overflow. So even though these guys weren't bunking with G3 division, they were still in a weapons department berthing. So it does matter where you bunk. It matters for like man overboards, general quarters, and things like that. They have to be able to find you. So it does matter where you bunk.
One less thing I gotta worry about. That's good. Seaman York, I need you to go start checking them in.
Remember, Chief, I gotta finish those charts.
You're right. Head out to Alucard. I need you to start him getting checked in.
All right, Chief. I got you.
This is just a fucking soup sandwich division, man. Soup sandwich ship. All right, Chief, I got you. I would never talk to my chief like that. There would be hell to pay.
All right, so now you know where the galley is.
Hey, Alucard. Hey, Chief needs you to meet him down in supply.
But he has me checking in this guy.
Whoa, don't shoot the messenger.
Can you check him in?
No? I have stuff to do.
Like what?
Stuff. Like, what needs to be done?
Pretty much everything.
Okay,
All right, later.
let's go. What's your name?
Burger.
Burger. Like the cheese. Got it. Pardon me, sir. We having a check-in today? Seaman...
Seaman Burger, sir.
Should have your orders around here somewhere. I'll get to that when I get to it, so I'll talk to you then. See you around, Burger.
So what's next?
Hold on.
I want to know what cell phone company she has, because if you get service inside the ship, you have an amazing cell service provider. Unless she's near a weather deck, you ain't getting no goddamn cell service inside the ship.
Well, if he's not gonna worry about checking you in, neither am I. So go find Alucard.
Where is he?
Maybe supply.
She's smiling. That's a pretty cool.
Oh, good. You're all checked in.
No, Chief. Pay Officer Jarrett
No.
was...
What do you mean, no? What are you doing all this morning?
I've been...
There's no excuse for this. I need this done by 1400. Do you understand me?
Yes, Chief.
Get going.
Hi, Chief.
Hey, Burger, over here.
One thing I will say is that when you first check on board, the people that you first become cool with are going to be the ones that you kind of gravitate to the most. And that's going to hold true through your whole time in that command. I know for me, you know, there was a couple guys that when we were all fairly new, you know, joined more or less around the same time. And, you know, we all lived in the berthing together. And those are kind of the guys I hung out with through my full first tour. And that's, you know, that's what I see going on here. Now, I don't know why this guy's on restriction. Maybe he's a bad apple, maybe he's not. Not everybody on restriction is a bad apple. Sometimes it's very easy to get in trouble in the military in general. So just because a person is on restriction, it doesn't mean they're a bad sailor.
Hey,
What's going on?
besides you, the only thing that anyone said to me in the last 2 days is when I got my butt chewed by Chief for not getting my check-in done fast enough.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It was like that for me when I checked in 6 months ago.
What happened?
Man, I was so excited finally making it to the fleet. When I got here, I had to figure out everything on my own.
Yeah, everyone treats me like I'm an idiot because I don't know where everything is.
Yeah, I made one mistake. I ended up on restriction. No matter what I do, I just can't seem to win.
Yeah, I know that.
When I hang out after work today?
Wait, aren't you on restriction?
Not after today.
And yeah, I'm in.
Cool. Meet me at the end of the pier at 16.
In his first 72 hours aboard the ship, Seaman Berger's Navy career is already headed in the wrong direction. And the Navy
Underage drinking is a big no-no in the fleet. The Navy does not tolerate it. I'm not saying I didn't do it. I never got caught. If you're going to do it, be smart about it. Don't go acting a fool out in town, in the barracks, in the exchange, anywhere where you can draw attention to yourself. If you're going to do it, stay in a barracks room, stay in a hotel. Don't act a damn fool, because if you're caught, you're going to derail your future. You will go to captain's mast. You will get restriction. You may possibly be busted down. And when you're just starting out, if you're an E2 and you go back down to E1, that fucking sucks. All right. So, look, I'm not saying I didn't do it. I drank underage. Everybody does it. You gotta be smart about it. That's all I'm saying. Be smart about it, because it's very easy to get in trouble in the fleet, and you know it doesn't take much to derail you, and that's just how it goes. So you got to be smart.
Navy has invested a lot of resources in his training. Think about Seaman Berger's first impressions of his new ship. What kind of image does it project that his chain of command was not prepared to welcome him aboard? His only friend, Seaman Ely, had the same negative experience on the ship 6 months earlier. It is the responsibility of the command to properly care for the Navy's
I'm not going to drag this video out. I think the rest of it goes into like the command sponsorship program and you know how that goes. I can tell you for me, when I first checked on board the USS Carl Vinson, it was the Friday after Thanksgiving. I got there late at night. It was like 2 in the morning, almost Saturday. Well, it was Saturday morning. And, you know, it was after Thanksgiving, right? So there's nobody on the boat, you know, except for duty section. I had no idea where I was going. One thing I will add that I'm not sure if they addressed in this video. When you're reporting to your first command, right? Most people who join the Navy, you're either going to end up in California, you're going to end up in Virginia, or you may end up in Pearl if you're lucky, or you know, Washington. Those are like the 4 main areas where people usually end up. A lot of these airports that serve these military bases, you know, that are near these military bases that you're going to be flying into, they're very, very well equipped to handle transitioning military personnel. So a lot of these airports have USO offices. These USO offices have the phone numbers to every command, every quarterdeck. Sometimes they may provide you transportation, but not always, but they'll definitely point you in the right direction so that you can get transportation to your command. And they will notify the command that you have arrived. So I recommend that anybody, when you're brand new and you're not sure, when you're reporting to your command, when you land at that airport, find a USO office. Check in with that USO office and, you know, see if they can help you out. It will go a long way, believe me. I did that when I got to the Carl Vinson. I flew in SeaTac Airport. I had no idea where the hell I was going. I had never been to Washington. At that point, I had never really left New York. So I got there. The USO, more than helpful. They helped me secure transportation to the base. That was a long-ass ride, though. But, you know, I made it, you know, even though I was actually past my check-in date by orders, because the USO had called the quarterdeck, I was good. I was covered. They knew I was there, and they knew I was on my way. So that's something that this video didn't address. Then I will say, you know, check for that USO office and go in there and see how they can help you out, because they will at the minimum call the command for you. Another thing I want to say, command sponsorship, it's a big deal. So for those of you aspiring sailors who are getting ready to ship out soon and you're going to be going out to your ships, your first commands, your command sponsor will reach out to you. The minute you get your orders, those orders are cut, the command knows you're coming. And, whatever division that you are going to be assigned to, they're going to issue you a command sponsor. My first command sponsor was AO2 Keith Pope. He was a hell of a human being, one of the nicest individuals I ever met in my life. May his soul rest in peace. He did pass away a few years ago, unfortunately. But I'll never forget him. He was beyond helpful, and he went out of his way to make sure that I was, set up and good to go before he went to stand his watch that night. And that little bit of extra that he did, that extra care that he gave me, really set me in the right direction mentally for the rest of my first tour. Keith was a great guy. I was fortunate that I went to a command where I had good leaders. My first command, I had some really, really good leaders, and Keith was definitely among them. So he passed away a couple years ago. He was a hell of a nice guy. Cancer sucks. And, look out for that stuff. Don't ignore these guys. They're there to help you. And, the Navy is what you make of it. You have to go in with a positive mindset, especially when you get to your ship. It's going to be intimidating. You're going to be scared. You're going to be nervous. You're going to be afraid to fuck up. It's going to happen. You're going to fuck up. You're going to make mistakes. You just have to learn how to persevere and get through it. Anything is possible. Anybody can do it. I did it. You can do it. So that's going to be the end of this one. I'm not going to play this out because the video is already kind of long for my taste. And the rest of it is just like his positive experience. But it's everything that I'm basically just explaining here. So with that said, folks, I'm going to end the video here. Do look for more videos to come. I do want to revive this channel. This is something I'm passionate about. And I do feel like if my information can help one person, then mission accomplished for me. So I'll see you in my next video, folks. Until then, peace.